Hello and welcome back to Crash.net's weekly debate series. I'm joined by our F1 editor Luke Smith, and despite it being the summer break in Formula 1, the news never stops coming, with Alexandre Albon promoted to Red Bull at the expense of Pierre Gasly, who's gone to Toro Rosso for the remainder of the 2019 season. So put simply, how has this come all about?
Well, Red Bull have finally lost patience with Pierre Gasly. He was handed this opportunity as Daniel Ricciardo's replacement for 2019. A bit of a shock move. Nobody expected Ricciardo to leave. But Gasly was given the chance after an impressive year with Toro Rosso in 2018. But he just hasn't delivered. He's been really struggling all the way through this season. He had one bright moment at Silverstone where he finished fourth, a really solid drive. And it seemed to be a breakthrough. It seemed to be a big change. But since then, things have taken another downturn. Hungary was a real low point, 0.8 of a second off Verstappen in qualifying, and then lapped by Verstappen in the race, and he was fighting with McLarens, with Alfa Romeos, which is not where Red Bull want him to be. Red Bull team boss Christian Horner said after the race that they desperately needed Pierre to improve if they wanted to try and catch Ferrari for second place in the Constructors' Championship. But there was no intention, those were his words, no intention to replace Gasly mid-season at that point. And then yesterday the news dropped that, Toro Rosso driver Alexandre Albon will be stepping into that seat for the rest of the year, which is a shock move and I think, caught everyone out.
Massively. One clear question when the news was breaking was, why did they overlook Danny Kvyat? Because he was on the podium just 2 races ago for Toro Rosso, and obviously he's got experience at the top team. There's a bit of history behind it, but he seemed like the more obvious candidate.
Definitely more qualified. Albon's only got 12 F1 races to his name, and Kvyat, he's got a few seasons worth. But I think that this looks towards 2020 and where Red Bull want to look at their drivers and evaluate their options. Ultimately, they want to find the best teammate for Max Verstappen. Verstappen is the man they've got to look after. He's their number one. And they've got 3 drivers under contract. They've got Gasly, who they know about. They know what he can do in a Red Bull. Obviously, that's then led to this demotion. Kvyat, they also know what he can do in a top team. They saw him operate at the team a few years ago. Again, that didn't have a happy ending, but they know how it works. They know how he can function within that setup. Albon is the big question mark. So I think what they want is to have all 3 of them figured out, evaluated how they operate at the front of the grid within Red Bull, and once they've got that, they can then make a decision for next year as to who will be Max Verstappen's teammate.
Yeah, it's going to be a highly pressurised situation for all 3 of those over these the second half of the season. It's hard to tell how it's going to go, but do you think there's any indication of what will happen in 2020, or is it just anything's possible right now?
I think anything's possible, really. I think it is that Red Bull are very committed to not looking outside of the Red Bull family. I think we can safely say that one of those 3 will be Verstappen's teammate next year. And I think what they're maybe looking for from Albon is the kind of statement that Verstappen made himself when he took Kvyat's seat in 2016. He went and won his first race. That we may not see a repeat. But if Albon can, with no experience in the RB15 car, be quicker than Gasly was, closer to Verstappen, fighting with the Ferraris and the Mercedes on occasion, then I think that would be enough to sort of put his hat into the ring. Kvyat, known quantity. All he can do is really just keep on doing what he's been doing all year with Toro Rosso. He's been excellent. And as for Gasly, I think, he's just got to hope that Albon struggles in the same way that he did and in that adjustment to a top team. Because otherwise, his chances look very, very slim. But I think all 3 of them are going to be, they're all in with a shout. But I think Albon has got the big opportunity now that he can really, really take advantage of.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be utterly fascinating to watch over the second half of the season. Certainly going to keep all of us busy, so we'll see how it pans out.